Hey guys, welcome to the channel and welcome to another episode of Chatter from the Vox. This is our weekly podcast that we try and do every single week. We've only missed like maybe 2 or 3 I think so far since we've been doing this, and we've been doing this for about 7 months now, so we're not doing too badly. We tend to go live every Sunday or Monday on Twitch, and we do a podcast type format thing. If you do miss it on Twitch, if you're watching this on YouTube, we do try and put every single one on YouTube as well. And we also try to, in a couple of delays at the moment, stick them up on Podbean, which means they also get disseminated to Spotify and iTunes, so you can consume this content almost anywhere. It's amazing.
Almost.
We're on podcasts, we're on YouTube, we're on Twitch. Obviously, as a YouTube video, it's just a sit and talk. You get to watch us chat nonsense. But if you want to get involved with these things, you can come and find us on Twitch. You just have to search for Warhammer Liam. And if you find us on Twitch, you can be one of the live audience, and you can chat as one of the live audience and get interact with us and get involved and what have you. And that happens for 2 reasons. One, it keeps us going because you can keep nudging us with extra questions and extra stuff to talk about. And what they also do, the live guys, is they tend to keep us on track as well, which is amazing. Because we tend to go off track. And finally, as the clause already mentioned in the chat, they tend to heckle us quite a lot as well, which I don't mind too much.
I
could just ignore them.
I like the rules corrections and the info finding. It's like having your own personal sort of backup.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that rule, you know, the one that I'm gone blank. Wait 2 seconds, wait 2 seconds. And it's there.
And then we just edit that little bit out, right, in post, and it just looks nice and professional. So we do this almost every single week. You come and join us on Twitch, like I say, search Warhammer Liam. And if you hit follow, it will notify you when we go live. We also put out a notification on Facebook every time we go live. So if you follow Warhammer as a Facebook page, it also gives you a notification when we go live. If you want to come and join us live on Twitch, that is, which you don't have to, obviously. And if you do join us on live and you've got Amazon Prime and your Amazon Prime account is connected to your Twitch account, you can also subscribe to one Twitch channel a month for free to you, but it supports us financially. And you can do that. I think it's about £5 we get for it, but we don't see the whole lot because Twitch take a cut. But yeah, you can do that for free. It costs you nothing if you have Amazon Prime.
Yep.
If you haven't already got Amazon Prime, I think it's worth you paying the £80 for Amazon Prime so you can subscribe once. That's right? Yeah, that's how it works.
You have to resubscribe every month as well.
You do have to do it every month, which people forget. But there's a little button in the top right-hand corner that says subscribe, and you can do it every month. Yep. We do it. I do it for people like Hellstorm and Honest Wargaming. I try and spread it out a little bit as well. So perfect. Right, okay. What else was I going to say? Also, if you enjoy these sit and talks, you might enjoy me and Winters' random ramblings. We tend to do them on DZHQs. We also do battle reports on Warhammer, which you can check out on deploymentzone.tv as well. And that's the place that Winters and I have created our special little website. You can come and join us. The website is addressed across the top of the screen. Words are a thing today. I'm tired. Yep. They're across the top of the screen. You can come and join us at Deployment Zone. And for a monthly subscription, you get minimum near enough 4 battle reports a month because we put a battle report on every single Tuesday. We also try and drop DZHQs every couple of months, which is a sit and talk. There's top tips, there's painting tips, there's comedy series. Winters is currently dropping a campaign at the exact same time we're also releasing our regular battle reports, which is pretty special.
Every Friday at the moment.
So you can come and watch our battle reports as well as our campaign. So that's 2 battle reports a week at the moment.
Yep.
However, that pace is something that's impossible to keep up, but we are going to keep dropping campaigns as additional content as well. That's the intention. So there's loads of stuff on Deployment Zone if you want to come and join us there. And it's just an awesome place to come and hang out. And at the point in which this goes out, we won't yet have had it because at the end of August, at the end of next month, we have our deploymentzone.tv open day, which is at Element Games. Tickets are sold out for that currently. Tickets are sold out.
Jeez.
So if you didn't buy one, tough. Advertising it for ages, so tough. But tickets are sold out, so you can. These guys that have got tickets can come and hang out with me in Winters for the day at Element Games, and Brom's going to be there.
Yep.
That way on this camera. It's weird that way. And Mikey P's going to be there. Winters is going to be there, and other people are going to be there. So loads of us will be there.
All the regulars.
Games. Yeah. So perfect.
Bar Chewy, I think we're missing a Chewy.
I think we are missing a Chewy. I think he can't get it off
Sad
work.
days.
We're also missing a Steve Not Rob.
Oh, what?
Yeah, Steve Not Rob's a doubles tournament at Warhammer World that day. So it's still 40k. We just love it. We're just mad for 40k. There's other stuff that's coming up for deploymentzone.tv soon as well. In November time, we have a day. I think it's November time. We have a day booked at Say Hi Paul's.
Yep.
And I have just been to Say Hi Paul's this last Saturday and seen his 3 massive gaming rooms that can all hold a 6 by 4 foot table.
3.
So, yeah. All right. Say Hi Paul has a lot of stuff and space and more stuff and more space.
And a million
so
models.
What we have is we have an amazing day booked where there is myself and yourself and Mikey P and Winters and Steve Not Rob and Rob Not Steve and Chewy all going up to Stay High Pools for a whole weekend of filming and carnage.
Yes.
So there'll be big debates and battle reports and comedy series and drunken antics and all kinds of stuff going on for that weekend. So that stuff will be dropped in December as a Christmas special. There you go.
Yeah.
That's exciting, isn't it?
It's going to be absolutely amazing.
It's exciting considering it's currently July and we're already talking about it.
Yeah.
We're also in the process of talking potentially to Confrontation Events about being a official sponsor.
Cool.
Yeah.
Of the team event.
Of Confrontation. Of his events.
Yeah, we should.
His singles event is coming up in October. Yes, October. And that's also sold out.
Yep.
So we pushed that when we got back from the team event. It's now sold out. So you can speak to Ricky and get on the reserve list. But that is a sellout now, so you will be on the reserve list. He has already got the dates up for his team event and his doubles event and next year's singles event. So you can see all the stuff that he's got going on next year. And if you want to, you can put your name down on his list of people that are interested. You can follow his page on Facebook and it will let you know when all the events go up and all the updates and stuff. So you can definitely follow Ricky and Confrontation and come and join us for events on the South Coast, because I'm going to try 3 events a year is nothing really. I'm going to try and make the Confrontation events if I can most years, because they're really local to me, so it doesn't really pull me away from the family too much. And they do good events, and I think it's cool to support something local to me like that as well.
Well, I made the doubles and the team event this year, and they were great fun. Absolutely great fun. And I'm not going to the singles, but we've got an absolute load of patrons
We have got a fair few patrons going to singles now. Lee's coming down for it as well.
Lee, Mikey P going?
Mikey P, I don't think he's got his name down for the singles, but we have got a fair few people coming. Chirs Baitup's coming down. There's a few others as well. Yes, support Confrontation with us. Those guys are awesome down there. There's a good bunch of dudes as well that are regular down to Confrontation.
Just great fun.
So come and join us. It's an excuse to come and find us and throw some dice. We'll be putting a team in next year. We're sticking a couple of doubles team in next year as well. So if you want to play with Mikey P, for example, Lee said he might come down and play with me as well. He's off that weekend, so we can chuck a couple of teams in. It will be awesome fun.
Yeah.
Also, this Thursday, 9 p.m. UK time, tickets go on sale for the SNGT. So if you want to go over to the Rock in Gibraltar and you don't think you can make No Retreat, the SNGT tickets go on sale on Thursday at 9 p.m. And they will sell fast.
Yep.
I have no doubt. So if you don't know about it, you're not sure about it, you're leaning towards it, just buy one because they're going to go. And I'm hoping to be over there as well for the GT.
You reckon that it was about an hour last time?
Yeah, about an hour.
About an hour.
So perfect. Right. I think that covers all that admin rubbish, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
I think so. Oh, for those of you that are watching this video and gone, I watched the last video and he gave out 300 quid of element vouchers and I've not seen my voucher yet. Yeah, I've been super busy since that one went live. They are coming. I'm basically using my night shift to organise all the codes that get emailed out. So yeah, perfect. They are coming. So every single person who won a £5 Element Games voucher for just basically being a patron of the channel, that's on its way to you very, very soon. It will be with you by the end of the week, I promise, because I need to get these things done, and I need to get them done before the weekend because we have a special visitor this weekend. So next week's podcast, I can already tell you, will be on Sunday night, and it will be on Sunday night because we're being joined by American Rob.
Are we?
Yeah. So
nice.
He's flying over from, I think, New England for the barbecue. So I thought, well, okay, Sunday we're going to film a battle report with him as well because he's here, and then we'll squeeze in a podcast as well, so he can basically cram in as much more hammer as he can in a weekend.
Amazing.
That's the intent, and we are putting him up for the weekend because he's flying from America, right?
Yeah, damn straight.
So he's coming over for the weekend, and we're going to stick him up for Friday, Saturday, Sunday night, and drink plenty of beer, eat plenty of meat, and play plenty of 40k.
Is he bringing an army as well? His own? All that way?
He is bringing an army over, yeah.
Jeez.
Yeah,
we would have quite happily loaned you any army, just so you could bring some clothes.
So Rob's predominantly an Imperial player, plays like Space Marines and Adeptus Mechanicus and Knights and stuff. I did say he could use all your stuff without asking you.
What?
So the offer's still there, Rob. If you can't be bothered to bring your stuff because it's effort and it might break, you can still use all of Brom's rubbish Ultramarines and his Knights.
Yeah.
You can bring his rubbish Ultramarines that always get beaten by me and his Knights that got beat by Harlequins. You can bring those if you want to.
I listened to that, and that is unfair, realistic. Like the Knights versus Harlequins was a bad matchup for me. The Harlequins were definitely designed for taking out Knights. There was haywire everywhere, fusion everywhere. He was in front of me, less than 3 inches away, which is what they need, and he just fluffed. And I did take out half his army in round 1, but then his turn 2, he did delete half my army as well, as it was meant to happen in turn 1.
Yeah.
And hence we got to the right at the very end with the last dice roll.
Harlequins did get the last laugh.
They did.
I love that.
And from that, I do now love Harlequins.
So, yeah, we've also got a very special battle report coming up on the channel. I've not finished editing it yet, but a challenge got laid out. A challenge got laid to Winters from a DZHQ where he sat there next to me on his wonderful sofa with his finger in me, arm around me. And someone said, he said to me something along the lines of, if he took the most competitive Space Marine list he had, and I took the most competitive Elder list that I had, not stuff we got out to buy specifically for, but stuff that we already had, and we played each other, he claimed he would win. Full stop. Now, he made that statement, and a few of the DZTV fans challenged him and said, no. So we got together a couple of weeks ago and thought, should we try it?
Yeah.
Should we just give it a go? So we played I don't want to call it competitive because it's me and Winters. It really wasn't. But for us, it kind of was, where we went as hardcore as possible against each other, and that game will be going on Warhammer very, very soon. And you get to see Winters bring what he thinks is his nastiest Marine list against what I think is my nastiest Eldar list. And there was a couple of differences. Like, for example, I run Simhan, and if I was being competitive, I wouldn't be. So I still ran Simhan.
Well, they are red.
Because they're red, exactly. So
Simhan symbols all over it.
But that's coming very, very soon.
Yeah.
That's about that.
I'm guessing he picked whatever he wanted. He was Ultramarines.
He wasn't Ultramarines.
Ooh.
I thought that's what he would pick, but I don't want to make a combat with him as Simhan, and Ultramarines can fall out of combat and shoot, right? So he didn't want that one. So he picked something different. Anyway, I'm not going to spoil it anymore.
Yeah.
I'm not going to spoil the result, or who did better than the other one, or who was terrible. It was hardcore. It was hardcore. It was great fun as
Winters is a tactical genius, though. Gives all this fluffiness in.
Winters is a very good player.
Super good player.
He's a much better than people than he lets on. Actually, he plays the part of a blithering idiot, but he is a very good player, and I love him. And that's why I had to give myself a tactical advantage by bringing a super 7-foot tall table, so that he can't play. If you can't throw dice, you can't play.
He can throw the dice, he can't reach his models.
Yeah, he can throw the dice, and because I've got a nice lip now, they won't go off the edge of the table. Anyway, so tonight I didn't really have a topic, hence we're already rambling and talking nonsense. So what I thought we would do is talk about basically why we play 40k.
Okay.
And it gives us an opportunity, one for me to talk about why, one for you to talk why I. So I'm not a Geordie. One for you to talk about why you play 40k, and also the guys in the chat can also tell us some of the reasons why they might play 40k. And when one of us is talking, the other can read, and we can read out comments and stuff like that. So it's good interaction as well, right?
What'd you say? I was reading.
Yeah. Did Winters wear a hard hat or a flat cap for that bat wrap? That is a moment of genius that we missed out on. That I should have made him wear a hard hat, like a big safety
over the top of his flat cap.
I am very glad Mikey P wasn't here yesterday.
Yeah.
When we made this table, he would have had a brain aneurysm.
I've read the feed.
I don't know how 3 adults and a 6-year-old and a 2-year-old came out of this room yesterday with all arms, legs, fingers, and toes intact. We had jigsaws, circular saws, power drills.
I've heard stories of 2-year-olds and drills.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hiya!
It was like working with Lee all over again. It was horrendously dangerous, but it's done. Table's done, so it looks awesome. If you don't know what I'm talking about, you can go and check us out on Instagram or Facebook and see pictures of it. It's incredible.
Yeah,
it's incredible. Right. Anyway, I've talked enough nonsense.
Okay.
So I'm going to hand over to you, Brom, and you can tell us why you play 40k.
Because you make me. No. So I play 40k now because I enjoy it. There's moments where I've not really been into it, and I've been into bits of it. And I guess 40k as a whole is more of a hobby to me. It's not a playing the game only. It's the taking part in the modelling and painting, and it's therapeutic. That's what it's about now. It's therapeutic.
The whole hobby, though.
The whole hobby.
Yeah.
Previously, why I started was just because next door neighbour had some stuff, and I liked the stuff, and it was cool. And then gave it up for a bit, and then you got some stuff, and I was like, oh, that stuff's cool. And Adam had some stuff. It's another friend of ours.
Yeah.
And that was cool. So I got some stuff, and then from there it's kind of developed. Only in the last sort of since Warhammer's been born has it really exploded for me though. Like we played in 7th, but since Warhammer, it's really got going. So. But now it's just therapeutic. You meet some really lovely people.
So your starting was kind of a staggered start, right?
100%.
So you didn't.
It's never been a key thing in my life, like until now. And now my wife would say that it's a bit too much in my life. But it was. I was always a sport person, outside playing sport, climbing trees, and all the stuff that kids do. And that was more of a focus than an indoor hobby. But
okay. So You're
So
starting to start with your neighbour then. Let's talk about that.
yeah.
So your neighbour had some stuff.
He had some Space Marines.
Okay.
Space Marines that looked like Space Marines, and therefore on a holiday down in Cornwall, I bought some orcs because they looked cool.
Okay.
And I built those orcs, and then we played with the orcs and the Space Marines, but not Warhammer at all.
Right, yeah. Just your own. Like, I think every single person who's ever started 40k as a kid doesn't actually play 40k when they first get their stuff. They just play this bastardised version of 40k where they kind of make it up as they go along.
Well, there were Spitfires involved and cars and.
I mean, that's kind of orky.
And Transformers and stuff like that. Yeah, there was lots of stuff, and I was probably a bit too old to be. I was definitely not too old to play toy soldiers.
You're never too old, mate.
Never too old.
I'm 32 and I'm still playing toy soldiers.
It was. I was a very childish child, so I liked it.
Yeah.
And then he got into computer games, and we got into computer games, and the model sort of went away.
That's interesting because mine was kind of the opposite.
Was it?
Yeah. So when I was knee-high to a grasshopper, when I was a tiny little child, my nan used to own a charity shop. And I was mad for what every child in the whole world is mad for, Lego. And she brought home this metal Lego set, which was actually the old Chaos Bloodthirster. And so I got this metal model, when I looked at it. And my brother, he got the old metal combi box of a Death Company, the Blood Angels Death Company, that had Lamatis in the box. And he got that, and I got this Bloodthirster. And I will be shameful enough to say, why have I got this shit and he's got that? He's got cool looking soldiers and I've got some big I mean, I don't know if you saw that old Bloodthirster. What a fucking horrible looking model. So anyway, whatever, and I left that. Friends of mine and my brothers came over one day because we got into computer games. And we got into like PlayStation gaming and stuff at that age years ago. And he saw said models, and little did I know at the time that he was a 40k gamer. Had no idea. And then we went and visited their house because he went, look at that. And we went and visited their house to play more PlayStation games. And we started off on the PlayStation games, and then quickly out came his collection, and he collected, I think it was Old Guard, but I can't remember what regiment he collected. It might have actually been Mordians, which is interesting because we just had Mordian John on with his Imperial Guard on the channel, and he got his collection out, and his younger brother had Space Marines, and he got that out, and that was us sold. And then the computers just went away. And we went towards 40k. And then we found some other friends, people like Adam, who were also 40k gamers. And it erupted from there. And that's where it started. And then I joined the army. I went to college, joined the army, and it kind of died through college and the army because, the clause already said up the top. Let's go back to his little comment. He said, I just played because of all the girls and drugs. Yeah, beers and bitches for the claw. So, I mean, that happened, but not with 40k. You were lucky, you got both. I didn't get both. You can get one really, but so that happened. Like the college era happened, and Winters always makes his comment about how he never actually came away from 40k. He just kept being a geek. I did, and I joined the army, and then I was based up in Suffolk, with nothing to do up there, sat in the middle of nowhere because we're on an airfield. So and a friend of mine in the forces was a 40k gamer, and he had all this stuff in his room, and I went, I used to do that. And then as a single soldier with disposable income, off to Games Workshop we went. And then it erupted again.
Spent a fortune.
Yeah.
I would say, I'd almost say that I went into the closet at a young age, hid all my hobby away, played computer games that were cool. And I've always loved computer games, and I played them all the way through uni.
Yeah.
But and then after uni kind of came back out the closet. But it was only recently where I've openly, randomly in interviews recently and discussions with randoms talked about it. It's a different thing. Like, it's it was never ashamed about it, but it was just something I wouldn't openly just randomly discuss with people, because mostly I want to relate to that person.
Yeah.
So whereas all the people in Discord, I know that they're already involved in it and that they love it. So it was an easy open forum.
Risk, doesn't it, I suppose?
Yeah, massively.
Because I think even as grown adults, a lot of people in the world still fear ridicule. It's a shame that it still exists in the world, but it does. It's a fact. People still fear ridicule. And a lot of reason why people keep this hobby quiet, and it still happens to probably half the people we have in Discord, to be honest. A lot of the reasons why these people keep this hobby quiet is because of fear of ridicule. And to be honest, I think that fear is normally born from people who don't necessarily understand it.
Oh, 100%.
When I picked up again when I was in the forces, my room used to have single man rooms in the block in the forces, relatively big sized rooms. So I had a desk in there and a bed and stuff, obviously. And I used to leave my door open on the corridor because anyone could come in for a brew. I had an open door policy. Anyone could come in for a brew, and people would walk in whilst I sat with a paintbrush, and the first instant reaction was ridicule.
100%.
Always, until they realised that you didn't care, and they go, "That's an orc." Yeah. Yes, it is, because I think most people have had some form of exposure to 40k, even if they haven't necessarily played it.
I think it's a big thing. As soon as you get comfortable with yourself and you can start openly chatting about what you do and how you do it, I really like it now. So I'm well open about it, and I tell loads of people. I have loads of discussions, defend it.
I mean, I run a YouTube channel. I can't help but be open about it.
No, I know, your face is everywhere.
Yeah. In your dreams.
Not mine. But it's on the side of a bus.
Still in the closet.
Yeah, definitely. But that was a thing. And I think only recently, I say the last 5 years, 10 years was a long time ago, 5 years, is it really started to be such a big part of my life. I have to embrace it. Yeah. So, and actually I quite like embracing it.
Yeah, so there's another comment that got made further up the list, actually, which I'm trying to find. Subject 00147 said the words, "I play for the excuse to get a friend round for a day, because my younger brother wanted someone to play against, plus the opportunity for conversions and the alternative of just a kill team, etc." I mean, that first statement he made, "I play for excuse to get friend rounds," that's kind of why I started to play properly. And what I mean by that is I collected loads when I was in the forces, and we played every now and again. We tended to have lots of hobby evenings, sat drinking beer or tea and what have you. Many injuries with scalpels, by the way, when you're drinking beer and hobbying. But otherwise, we didn't get to play all that often. There was a club on camp, but it wasn't the greatest. As in, well, I mean, a club, I mean, there was a building with a gaming table in it. It wasn't the best in the world.
It wasn't massive either.
No, so you couldn't fit a load of people in there. When we got married and we moved into our quarter, our spare double room, the spare bed was high enough you could put a table on, 6 foot by 4 foot table on. So I used to use that as an excuse to have people around for the day, and people would come over and we'd throw some dice and play 40k and what have you, and it was exactly that reason. It was an excuse to have people around, and then even more so when I moved away from some of those friends I made in the forces who were gamers. That's when I started doing things like tournaments. Yeah. Because we couldn't get together every week and play a game, so I would drive somewhere with him for a weekend where we got to, maybe not against each other, we got to play 5 games and hang out for the weekend and drink some beer. So that was why I enjoy playing it. Not necessarily why I play it, full stop, why I enjoy playing it. Why I play it, I love the social aspect. And people seem to sort of look at you a bit odd when you're talking about what essentially is a geek's hobby and go, social aspect, what are you on about?
Oh, it's so sociable. It's unbelievably sociable. To the point where I back away from it sometimes because I'm like, no, this is too much. Too much social.
I love events like tournaments. Yeah. I don't love them because I love tournaments. I love them because of the social aspect.
Yeah.
I could quite happily go to an event for a weekend and lose all 5 games as long as I played 5 great opponents and had 5 good games where I was able to do stuff and cool shit happens.
Yeah.
And if I lose 5 games against 5 cool opponents in those circumstances and I walk away having 1-0, not even the wooden spoon because someone was a little bit shit than I was, as long as I've still had a good weekend, that's a success for me. That weekend's a success, and I'm happy with that. I mean, we all want to do things like see if we can rank on ITC. I think even some people who aren't competitive, there's a little bit of a guilty urge in there to go, Could I be the best
I
Necron player in the world?
I didn't win very much at Hellstorm, and I still went and checked out my ranking.
There you go.
just to find out I was 65,000th in the world or something like that.
I was lower.
No, you were one above me. And then the weekend. So when we played at Confrontation, I didn't win very many. I was MVP after round 1 in our team.
Yeah,
but
that was it.
I never won again. So it was. I didn't mind. They were great games. I played great people. There were some absolute gotcha moments, and actually it was hilarious. So I really enjoyed it actually.
But the thing is as well, this is something I was moving on to. Someone's already beat me to it. Bristol Chess Times has already beat me to this, where it is insanely social. Right, you get together for a weekend, you can throw some dice. You can in the studio here. We've had it before where we've had 4 or 5 of us in here when we're not filming, and we can have a few beers and chill out and throw some dice. It's amazingly sociable. But what I like about the hobby for the complete package is it can also be solitary. Sometimes is there anything nicer than sat at your desk with a paintbrush in your hand and you shut the world away, and you might put YouTube on or you might put a movie on or whatever, and you just sit there quietly, and it's kind of therapeutic. There's
been times where I've looked at like our Discord server where we have chat rooms where people chat live and voice chat with each other, and then gone, I could also listen to my audiobook and actually kind of want a bit of me time, and I'll still check Discord and I'll still comment in the background whenever I take 5 and get a cup of tea or refresh my water or something like that. But actually it is very, very like inner peace time. It's my yin yang.
Yeah, you can get a bit zen doing it.
Full zen.
Some people do it with other things. Some people do paintings or jigsaws or whatever. And I guess it fills the same role as that stuff. You just chill out and paint your models or build your models or make some conversions or whatever. That's what there's so many different aspects to it. Like I like computer gaming. I don't get to do it much anymore because of the channel, and I'm not complaining. But I do like computer gaming.
Well, we swapped it, didn't we?
Yeah.
We used to, when you lived miles away, and I only saw you rarely, it was Mandate night on that Battlefield on a Wednesday or something like that. You'll pick a night, any night.
It was Wednesday. It was Wednesday. Day night was Wednesday night.
Yeah. Then girlfriends would leave us alone, wife in your case.
Yeah.
And then we played Battlefield for 3 or 4 hours. And then now you're down the road, we just play
40k instead.
40k.
Yeah. And I still like PC gaming because I like gaming, but it's actually, I don't know if any people feel this way, but I find it now incredibly lonely compared to 40k. So I never used to find it lonely. I used to find it the most sociable thing that you and I did because you were 180 miles away.
Yeah.
But now I find it more lonely than 40k, if that makes sense. Because although you could be talking to someone on like a voice chat thing, you're still not hanging out with that person. Yeah. And I think, I'm a gregarious person. And I'm an extrovert. That's been proven. So I like people around me. I feed off other people's energy.
You're needy.
I'm not necessarily needy, but I feed off other people's energy. It's a thing. We did this thing. I can't remember what it's called, but when I did a management course, and they do this.
You read?
I don't know. They do this thing where they take these specific traits, and you can be extrovert or introvert, and you get graded on a scale, and it gives you a chart. I've got the thing somewhere. I can't remember what it's called.
Yeah.
MBT something. MBTI, something like that. Anyway, and basically, you plot yourself by doing assessments and what have you. It's quite interesting, very interesting, in fact. And Myers-Briggs, that's the one, the MBTI indicator. Thank you very much. The Myers-Briggs type indicator, MBTI. I knew I was close. And you can plot yourself. And honestly, if you've never heard of the Myers-Briggs indicator and you're mildly interested in this random crap I'm talking about that's probably got nothing to do with 40k right now, check it out. And it's very interesting how you can plot yourself on the chart as to what type of person you are: organised, disorganised, extrovert, introvert, etc. And we studied it a lot in this management course because it gives you ways of assessing your people that you manage and how then you might go about managing that person, because if they're this type of person they might react well to this method, but they might not, etc. And we discovered that I'm insanely extrovert, and by that it means that I am someone who feeds off of other people's energies and I like to be around people, and that's why 40k for me fulfills me a lot more than say PC gaming, because you have to be in the room with people for it to work, kind of. And we all, even those people though on that chart, like their solitary moments, like painting, and I love it. And I love having a room full of people. The barbecue on Saturday we've got with the patrons is the highlight of my month, and it's the 3rd of the month. And it's the highlight of my month next month because there's going to be a group of people with similar interests, all hanging out, eating some barbecue food, drinking some beer, maybe throwing some dice. That's amazing. I love that stuff.
Yep.
Again, though, not necessarily the reason that I play 40k.
It's DZ open day.
DZ open day is the 31st.
So it's a highlight of your month.
Yeah, until that one. Shut up. Shut up.
I've done a very similar test, and you would be a combination of several colours, and everyone is, but red is definitely your colour. You're quite, as you say, extroverted, want to be in control, and and slightly bossy. You'll never guess the colour I am. Blue.
Green.
100% blue. It's a little bit more introverted, a bit more detail conscious. I totally get that.
Yeah.
But you are right. Every opportunity you have someone round. So I play very few other games unless it's in the studio. Mm-hmm. I paint and I hang out and I talk hobby and I'll build with people and paint with people. But I don't play too many other games. I would like to, but I spend I deem if I'm going to have time to do this, then let's film it. Let's get it out there. And
let's make content.
Yeah, even if it's you're filming and Mikey and I play type thing. That's the sort of thing that I throw my time at when I do get opportunity to have. Well, I tell my wife an hour, and then she knows it's 5.
Yeah. I get that. But someone's touched. I've missed the comment, but I have read it. Someone's touched on something as well, which I think maybe even you might be the one that said it. I don't know, but I know it triggered in me when I heard it as what I think is predominantly the main reason why I like 40k so much and why I love the hobby so much. So what I've touched on so far is all amazing reasons for loving 40k, but it isn't for me the primary reason. And the primary reason why I love it, and I think a lot of people are the same. I'm not going to bracket everybody because I don't think it's true that everybody, but I love the escapism. And I think if people are honest, and you look at the movies that you love, or the books that you love, or the games that you love, or the tabletop games that you love, what people love about those things is the escapism into a universe, world, existence that isn't relatable to their own. If that makes sense.
100%.
There are some sort of nuances within that. So, for example, I love the escapism of 40k because it's nothing like something that I'm probably ever going to experience in my whole life. It's an amazing, and why I love it so much is because of how in depth that lore is. So my favourite set of books is the Lord of the Rings series because of the universe that Tolkien created before he wrote those books. Okay, so that depth of universe that exists, and it's got languages and it's got different dialects and species and all that kind of stuff and areas. There's a map involved. That's me set. I'm happy with that. I love something that I can buy proper into the universe. Games I've loved to play are games like Skyrim or even Fallout 4. Games like Fallout 4, etc. I only say 4 because it's the one it's the most recent Fallout game that's worth playing. Anyway, let's put it that way. But games like Fallout 4 because the universe is massive. It's a huge expanse, and it's a proper in-depth, detailed universe with many layers to it.
I really enjoyed it. The biggest problem with it was the fact that you were playing it over here, I was playing it over there, and Adam was playing it somewhere else, and someone else was playing it somewhere else. And although we're all talking about it, we have to be quiet because we don't want to tell each other what's going to happen potentially if you make different choices. But you want to talk about it with all your friends, and it was like, And then you were playing it on a better computer than I was playing it on my PlayStation. So you were like, well, the graphics are awesome. I'm like, well, they're average. But
yeah. But that's the thing with RPGs, and I love RPGs categorically. Yep. With RPGs, if you do really love RPGs, check out Sorcerer Dave's channel on YouTube and Twitch because he does RPGs for a living, and it's awesome to watch him. Yep. But if you like it, I love RPGs. But you're very right there. What that kind of does to a degree is it removes that social part of 40k that I love.
Yeah.
So you can both have an experience in Fallout or Skyrim or whatever you're playing, but you can't have that experience together unless you decide to want to buy that car crash called Fallout 76. I'm not going to keep on at that. But you know what I mean, though. You get what I'm saying. And the ability to escape into the 40... I don't listen to the radio anymore. I listen to audiobooks when I drive to and from work.
Yep.
And I'm still driving to work, immersed... I'm currently listening to Eisenhorn Xenos, right, as a book. And I'm driving to work, immersed in the 40k universe. And then I have 12 hours where I spend 11.5 hours on Discord. No, I don't. I wish. My boss would kill me. But then I finish my shift, and the second I get back in the car, Eisenhorn's back on. and I'm back in that universe for my 20-minute drive home.
I had to remember where I was on the weekend. I had a 4-hour drive down to Cornwall, and I looked at Sam and went, as you're likely to fall asleep anyway, and my phone's Bluetooth thing, can I just listen to my book? Yeah. And she looked at me and I was like, okay, so it's not, it's Heart. So 4 hours of her snoring and listening to Heart, and then all the way back as well. But
so she wasn't listening, snoring. She wasn't listening at all. She was snoring, and the Heart was on, and you quite liked it, and you're still in the closet, like you said. So
yeah, I can't get that out of it.
Athale says, Mohammed Lim, I have never read any of the 40k books. Any good first book suggestions? If you're going to read them, it's really hard. It depends what you want from your books. So if you are wanting to just learn about the whole lore from the very beginning, I would obviously suggest you start at Horus Rising and the Heresy. The first 3 books, actually, Horus Rising, anyway. False Gods, Galaxy in Flames, as a trilogy, are incredibly good. Incredibly good. And it will likely make you want to read the next one, which is Fight the Eisenstein and Fulgrim and etc. Yeah. So I would always suggest you start with those 3. If 100%. You don't care about the 30k lore, and you're not bothered about that, and you want to jump into 40k, that's much harder for me to suggest because I haven't read many 40k books. I started with the Heresy, and I don't do a lot of reading because I just don't have the time for it. My content of lore that I consume is massively skyrocketed since I started using audiobooks, basically. And they can be hit or miss. I don't know if you found the same, because I know you use audiobooks, but sometimes I find that the narrator can make it. So a book that's written by an incredible author, if the narrator's bad, it's hard to consume that.
Yeah, definitely.
And then a book that's an average book, but the narrator's really good, it can come across as better. So it can make it difficult. But I would certainly start with the Heresy series, the first 3.
Definitely.
I'm currently reading Eisenhorn, the first one of 3, Xenos, Hereticus, and the other one. The other one. But they're excellent. The first one is excellent, with Eisenhorn. Gaunt's Ghosts are supposed to be phenomenal. I've heard. I think actually, it's also Dave just mentioned Gaunt's Ghosts. Gaunt's Ghosts are supposed to be incredible. Winters always says to me, read Gaunt's Ghosts, read Gaunt's Ghosts, read Gaunt's Ghosts. The problem is there's only 2 of those audiobooks on Audible at the moment, so I don't want to start from midway through the series. I've also done Caiaphas Cain. Interestingly, following Caiaphas Cain, Gaunt's Ghost, Inquisitor, because a lot of them are sort of humanish, it's really interesting to follow those books because you can kind of get more invested in the character because you can relate to them. That kind of makes sense. I did find a little bit with the Astartes books, it was harder to relate to the character like Loken.
Really? I'm superhuman.
Because I'm not an Astarte. Yeah,
100%.
You got a superhuman grin, but I'm not an Astarte, so I find it hard to sort of be Loken in those books and follow his story. Caiaphas Cain, specifically Caiaphas Cain, was an incredible one to follow.
Was it?
Yeah,
I haven't read them yet.
Caiaphas Cain, without spoiling too much, and I read the book I've listened to for Caiaphas Cain is for the Emperor. Caiaphas Cain's an Inquisitor, a Commissar in the Imperial Guards. And he's a commissar that's only bothered about one thing: his own survival. That's it. And it is brilliant. The comedy that follows, I say comedy, the sort of dark comedy that follows as he's simply trying to keep himself alive, and the picture that paints of him is amazing. And it's a great book to start. And then it also depends on your chapter, legion, your alliance, which race you like. So for example, there's a set of Eldar books called the Path books. There's Path of the Warrior, Path of the Seer, Path of the Outcast. Those 3 books are very, very interesting. They follow 3 different characters in Craphod or Latok, I think. The story is the same story in 3 books, told from a separate perspective in each book. Yeah. Really clever series of 3 books, really interesting. I read the Blood Angels Omnibus. That was actually really, really good. I quite enjoyed that. I've actually read a fair amount. I've read more than I did.
I know it's increased, but you had read quite a bit already. If you're doing 40k, then the Gathering Storm stuff within that came out in 7th edition is like the end of 7th edition, start of 8th. We really sort of kicked off when the Dark Imperium happened and the Eye of Terror kicked off, and the fall of Cadia. That stuff is in there. That's how Guilliman came back, and I know it's loose on the Primera side. People don't, but actually, if you want to know what's setting the scene for the current lore, that's a good place to start.
Yeah, there's some good stuff there. There's some nonsense as well, but there's some good stuff. I think, and I know the chat's going to go wild. But the narrative around Gulliman is weak. when he was introduced. It just is. There's some better narrative stuff. The narrative around Magnus is a bit stronger than the narrative around Gulliman.
Yeah.
The narrative around Gulliman, the problem with some of the books like Gathering Storm books and these big books you could buy from GW Direct that aren't Black Library books, is, with all due and total respect to the people that wrote them, because they do 100% a better job than I would ever do in writing narrative, is that they're not the Aaron Dembski Bowdens, Dan Abnett's of the world.
You can tell that, and it isn't a Horus Heresy Black Library book.
Another two books then. If you like Chaos, you're a Chaos player. Black Legion and Talon of Horus, which are actually in the reverse order. Talon of Horus is the first book, Black Legion is the second. If you like Chaos, read those two first.
I've really enjoyed Crimson King. That's where I'm in at the moment.
I have been screaming at Brom to read those two books, because if you don't like Chaos and you read Talon of Horus and then Black Legion, you will then want to collect Chaos. You will want to collect Black Legion. They are so well written. Aaron Dembski Bowden is probably my favourite author, to be fair. Dan Abnett's close second.
Need to read them, because I don't really like Abaddon as the War Master, and that will help me.
It will help you.
Get on
it
board
makes
with
you
it.
think Abaddon's an absolute boss, even with Fell Crusades.
Really, I only have him from the early books, because I haven't read any of the latest stuff with him in. So
see, Sorcerer Dave says those two books alone have probably sold thousands of Chaos armies. I guarantee they have, and there's a third one coming, and I cannot wait for. They are so good.
To be fair, every one of the Horus Heresy books has made me want to buy a different army. And
if you can't, and if you can't be bothered to read those books, they're both in audiobook form as well, and they're very well narrated. Very well narrated. They are excellent books. And ADB did a recent interview on Warhammer TV as well. You can check that one out. He did a live interview with Wade on Warhammer TV. The guy's a legend. He's one of my favourite authors ever, and that's saying something.
They've been doing really well actually, interviewing the different authors, haven't they?
Yeah,
they've had Dan Abnett on, and
they've got the thingy of Siege of Terror novels coming out, haven't they? Mm-hmm. And they've all been sort of collaborating together, which is exciting series itself. See, Wolfbot, the Aaron Dembski Bowden books are to blame for my Black Legion army. Told you. Squid reading the Black Legion series made me get a Black Legion army. I told you. They're just so good.
So I'd never read Ultramarines related narrative before having the army.
You've already established how you've said yourself, reading the Horus Heresy books makes you want to collect different chapters, different legions. Yeah.
I've not read one of the old Horus Heresy books about the Ultramarines yet.
Like, we're also talking about why we play 40k. I know we've picked our favourite armies before and why.
Yeah.
But it's really, that's, for me, with you, that's a really interesting thing that I think is different to the majority.
Oh, most people love the narrative and the lore, don't they?
Narrative lore first.
Yeah.
And then the army comes along. I think for most, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe the chat will tell me I'm wrong. But yet you're the polar opposite.
Oh, completely.
Yeah. That's odd. In
fact, nothing that I own has been because of lore. Even though actually I love some lore.
If I can't fall in love with or relate to the lore, then I just don't see an army working for me. And I don't genuinely see it working for me if I can't relate to the lore. Not even just relate like I feel like I could be one of them, but I can understand it and it appeals to me and I like it. I'm quite a fan of evil. In terms of, I've always liked the bad guys.
Yeah.
I've always been a fan of the bad guys. It's just been me. Hence, I've got Chaos, and I like things like Necrons and stuff. And it's like playing Tau's been interesting because Tau are still bad guys to some, but not. I mean, Tau's a space communist essentially, and yet there's the Guard aren't bad guys.
No,
but because of their story, I love the story of the honourable, honest guardsman in the universe that exists currently. And then I've been recently reading up on Adeptus Custodes, and I need a good audiobook for Custodes actually, because I'm currently on a Custodes hype train. Just because I just read random stuff in the studio all the time.
There's the Blood Games one, isn't there, in the early Horus Heresy ones?
I don't know. If someone knows a good Custodes book that's also an audiobook, let me know.
I've read one, or listened to one.
Yeah.
Definitely. It was very, very good.
But Custodes in 40k are like what Spacemen should be, right? Basically. One soldier can take on 10. That's what they should be.
Yeah.
See, for me, Sorcerer Dave's Custodes game against Degs' Orcs at No Surrender 1 epitomises what Space Marines should do, and that is wade in with 10 blokes against a horde of Orcs and live, all of them. But Space Marines don't do that because they're rubbish. Anyway, let's read some more of these comments.
Yep.
When I started 40k, I chose the 10th Legion because Spit was Caesar's favourite legion during the Galax Wars, and there are some amazing stories about them in his commentaries. I got into 40k because I saw my friend's Space Marines and Orcs and Eldar armies. We had a few armies and was hooked and bought his Space Marine army off of him, and have always loved it. Getting back into for 8th, joined the local. That's happened a lot too as well, though.
Yeah.
Like, we are talking about why we play 40k, why we love 40k. A lot of people didn't until 8th edition, which is really interesting. And for all the critique and criticisms that people throw at Games Workshop, modern Games Workshop, we've got to admit they're doing a much better job, right?
They've got something right, haven't they? Really?
Yeah. There's always, I think for me, a little bit at the moment, they're always teetering on the edge of maybe getting something wrong, but on the whole, they're getting it right, so I don't think we can complain too much.
Well, I think you guys hit the nail on the head in the last podcast, did a bit that I've listened to, when you said that the Castellan going up in points, they had got that wrong. That wasn't right. And now, when you played against it, and they lost a quarter of their army, a third of their army...
I don't know about them getting it wrong. It's just an interesting nerf bat hit with the Castellan. And the reason why I say I don't know if they got it wrong is because every Knight army still had a Castellan apart from yours.
Yeah, they still did.
So
they are good.
They can't be that bad and that pointed out of the game if every Knight army there still had one.
Just means people had already invested in it and just want to buy a different one.
No, it just means... All it means is that the points of it, people still think it's worth it.
100%.
They still think it's worth it.
But it should be. It should be worth the
But I
points.
wouldn't mind betting every single person who took a Castellan who's thinking it's still worth it is probably looking at it going, I could take something else.
Yeah.
Which means they've made it a good choice now. They've made it a good problem to have. You're going, I could take a Skeleton, I could take a Crusader and an Armiger, or a Crusader and 2 Armigers, or whatever the equivalent points are. So I think, personally, that's a good move.
Yeah.
It does mean that when you lose your Castellan, if you choose to take that model, it stings a lot more, because like you say, you lose a quarter of your army. Yep. But like I said, with the exception of you, because you're different, everybody else who took a Knight army took a Castellan. Now, if you had here in the studio a Castellan on the shelf before that team event, would you have considered taking it?
In our team event?
Yeah.
No.
Don't.
No, because I like the choppy. Now, I probably would have a different opinion if I hadn't have played choppy nights.
Like the choppy.
At the fighty nights at the doubles, which is where Mikey P and I wanted to buy a Castellan and paint it up and build it.
You can get a Castellan and 2 Gallants in a list.
You can.
Yeah.
But I took a Crusader. But I also like the Warglaves. The Warglaves were amazing in the doubles, and they were quite a lot of fun in the team event.
Oh, so many comments. These guys are loving it. Bristol Chest Time. So John says, I think playstyle appeals to me. For example, I can't get behind Khorne Berserkers, so the lore interests me less. That's really interesting. I guess that's kind of like you, a little bit.
I like
Marines. So if he doesn't like the way that the army plays on the tabletop, he's got no interest in their lore, which is interesting. Yeah. What is really interesting with that as a comment, actually, if you think about it, is a lot of people mistake the tabletop playstyle for the lore.
Yeah, they're not.
So what I mean by that is a lot of people believe that World Eaters are just simply chain axe chainsaw wielding madmen. The lead World Eater in the Black Legion books, who has now joined the Black Legion, rocks around with a giant heavy bolter. Khorne cares not from where the blood flows, means that it can flow anywhere. So if it's a squad of Havocs or Obliterators, Khorne cares not.
And actually, in the Horus Heresy, listen to the stuff about Khan. He's such a monster, and yet he's so controlled in his monster. Like you talk about him now, and you see him on the table, and you go, "Oh, he's just he's just a madman, chases after anything that could look like a choppy kill."
Yeah.
But actually, him versus Erebus in the pits is an amazing scene to paint in your head. So good.
Yeah.
Lightning fast, could beat anyone.
So basically what I'm saying to John is don't just write a army's lore off because of how they play. Tau.
Yeah.
The current Tau play style, I'm ashamed to say, is mostly castle gunline. Yeah. The narrative and lore behind them is an absolute rapid mobile fighting force. Mm-hmm. Suits, crisis suits, etc. So don't completely just think about some of these armies maybe trying to dig into some of the narrative that won't cost you any money to dig into, because you might be surprised. And actually, Tau, for example, is a case in point. You don't have to play to the current play style. You can play to whatever you want to make it. But I mean, you can't necessarily play a heavy psychic phase with Tal because they've got no psychers. In that case, it's definitely the wrong army for you. But they can be a highly mobile, rapid strike force.
Yeah.
If you and it won't be the most competitive choice. But we don't care about that much on the channel. Sauce Dave, I'm into 40k because it's an opportunity to create stuff. My early years in the hobby were very little actual gaming, a ton of writing and painting, and it's kind of stayed that way. Being able to create stories and characters and share them is what keeps me going. But that's for you for ages was all about the painting, wasn't it?
100%.
Didn't care about gaming any less.
No.
All about the painting. And
Absolutely.
I know a number of people who are predominantly painters, hobbyists, converters, kit bashers, etc., and they are happy just doing that.
Yeah.
And that's one of the other things that I think I love so much about this and why I play 40k is because you don't just have the gaming aspect. You can just have the gaming aspect if you want to pay a commission painter. You can.
Or not paint your army. Although they're pushing on the fact, I think GW even like the fact that people will want to have an investment in something if they paint it. Hence all the really useful paints for quick painting now. They've all come out. They're all designed for helping people that don't really want to spend hours painting to paint their models really quickly. And then have a bit more investment in them, in the colour scheme and in the way they look on a table. And you haven't just got grey models, because everyone doesn't like that.
Yeah.
Even those that play with it and are just really interested still would rather pay with it.
And there's nothing wrong.
I have no doubt.
There's no shame. There's genuinely no shame in going, I'm not very good at painting, or I don't like painting, or I don't enjoy painting. I'm going to pay a commission painter.
No.
I like to flip it on its head. Some people go, couldn't bother to paint your own army. I like to flip it on its head. You've paid someone else to enjoy their hobby.
Yeah.
That's brilliant. That's the community supporting each other, and those people are making money from commissioning armies for people to a decent standard.
Yep.
And that way we're supporting more creative people in the hobby, which is incredible. 8th is amazing. It makes the game fun and simple and quick to play. I think almost everyone who's come back to 8th has said that has been a massive benefit for them. There are some people that scream that it's almost too simple now. Borderline. The success of the company would normally tell you how well or how bad that decision was. I think it's been quite good. The Astarte series on YouTube shows how Space Marines should be, super soldiers who can battle humanoid. Have you seen that series?
Which one?
The Astarte series on YouTube. Have you seen it?
It's only short bits coming out.
Yeah,
isn't it?
It's like 2-3 minute clips. A company has made a CGI version of the Astarte series.
Yes.
There's almost like no narrative behind it. I think like spoken words. It's actually really good. Really good.
Very little narrative. The
I'm into 40k because I like the escapism and was introduced by Step Brothers.
Yeah.
And now Brom Smile. Yep.
There's I did watch the Ultramarines movie recently.
Dominus. Huh?
I watched the Ultramarines movie.
I've heard terrible things about that.
I have also now seen terrible things about that. But it was interesting to watch, and I was a bit disappointed that so many amazing people within GW were involved in that. And I think if they remade it now, it would be absolutely epic.
Yeah, probably because the investment's more there now. Because
it's old.
Because it's more mainstream now.
100%.
40k. It is more mainstream.
They could take the same story. They don't have to rewrite a story. It's a good story.
The Claw says he got back into the hobby in 2005 when his dad died and wanted to paint and switch off. It's just grown from there. A lot of people do use the painting for escapism as well. Because like I said, you can shut yourself off, headphones on if you want to, and just paint away and ignore the world.
Yeah.
Squid Monster said, Castellan, we just enjoyed having it for 100 points cheaper for a few months. Yeah, that's definitely Rob.
Yeah. Well, have you seen what he's taken a bit further down? He's heading to a 2,000 point event, keeping the same list as he used against you. 2 Warglaves, Castellan, Gallant, Warden, but dropping the Warglaves for Helverins, because that's just funny, and the Warden for a Valiant. So Castellan, Valiant,
list.
Gallant.
He's going double Dominus. That's a legend. Genuinely think I enjoy making storytime videos more than filming battle reports. But without the battle reports, no one pays any attention to the story behind them. That's kind of true.
Yeah,
but making the story is really good fun. And actually, I'm very, very envious of people like Toby and even people like Winters who have this real rich ability to make narrative.
Yeah.
I struggle. I have to have people help me make narrative because I genuinely struggle to come up with my own. I can come up with some of it, and I struggle to fill the gaps.
Well,
So I create this sort of cracky wall of nonsense, and people help polyfill the gaps up to make a smooth story.
Yeah.
And that I need that help. But some of these people can just do it, and it's amazing.
I wrote our narrative for our team for the confrontation event, and I'm pretty sure it might be a copy and paste from somewhere else because most of my narratives are based on the stuff that I've seen.
Yeah.
And even if I don't remember it, it's in there, lodged in there, and I know there were spelling mistakes. So
the points went up for the Castellan, but it stopped being a massive powerhouse. Yeah, it is a massive powerhouse.
Yep.
American Rob says it's interesting because only one Castellan went to American Team Championships. Got into 40k because I love the models in the community. The community is amazing now, though. The community either didn't exist before or was like well underground.
Yeah. Well, I think it was just that one. What was it? What's the chat room where pretty much everyone posted their lists? I haven't been on there for ages.
Daka.
Daka. That was it pretty much.
And the thing is, GW didn't help that stigma, right? Because they didn't have a community team, they didn't have Facebook, they didn't have YouTube. They were switched off. Just this one shop on the high street, and you could only get them via that shop or via an email. And now they are everywhere, and it's come up. It's surface, isn't it? Right?
Oh, it's
40 community is very accepting, no matter your skill or level of painting, because people know how you love hobby. That's what's good about Discord. Mm-hmm. That's what I love about our Patreon community. I'm not going to name pages or groups because it's not my style, but I have seen and been on and involved in 40k groups on things like Facebook that actually are quite poisonous.
Yep.
And if you are a newer person to the hobby, if your skill level isn't that high and you're on these groups, it can be a relatively negative experience.
Yep.
And I'm not saying these people that find that these experiences are negative are some sort of snowflake or softie. I mean, like, genuinely, you look at it and you think, is there any need for that? It's not helpful to anybody, you know. So if you are going to go out there and find yourself a 40k community because of all this stuff we're talking about,
come to us. I mean, find one like ours.
But be a little bit picky about what you join. Don't if you join one and you find that there's a bit of negativity about it, it's a bit poisonous, just leave it, because there are so many out there.
Yeah.
And I mean, there are so many out there. There are so many good communities out there. There are so many good teams to go and join. There's so many good tournament scenes to go and play in. If you find one's negative and poisonous, walk away from it. Our Discord is so phenomenal because literally that comment alone sums it up. Is whether you have just picked up a brush for the first time and you've decided to use a 2-inch paintbrush to try and do a Space Marine, or if you're a golden demon level painter who's won a Slayer sword, everybody is supportive of everybody. And I don't think I can put value on that.
What's even better is actually some of the people that are painting with those 2-inch brushes have more confidence in what they're doing because they know the level they're at, and they believe in that, and they like that, and they're proud of that. That they're giving confidence to the Slayer sword winner who's judging whether the extra highlight line is worth it or not, and triple checking as well. There's a reason they're a Slayer sword winner, because they've got that eye for detail and they double check everything. But but then there's that confidence they get from showing everyone. Everyone goes, "Wow, it's amazing." And to be fair, you get that from everyone. Everyone says that.
One of the things I love a little bit about things like the Golden Demon tournaments as well is the Golden Demon events for painting is that if you take something that you've painted really well and you're happy enough to enter it into Golden Demon, for a brief moment it will go in a cabinet. Yep. That's incredible. And it will be on display to people.
Yep.
And then they'll have a cut and it might not make the cut. And that's fine, but your model went in a cabinet.
Yep.
That's cool. And I mean, someone says something like elitism isn't accepted in this community. That's why I enjoy it. 100%, and that's what I think makes some of these communities so special. And it's another one of those reasons why currently I'm loving 40k so much. I've said this in the past. I mean, I work a full-time job, and I have a family at home with 2 kids, and I have this channel, and I have DZ. So my life's pretty packed out. And when I'm having a hard time for whatever reason, and everyone has hard times, right? Every single person has hard times. I can turn to our community on Discord or WhatsApp or whatever, and I can feel better, genuinely. I mean, honestly better in a couple of hours.
Yeah.
With a couple of giggles with the right people, they just pick you up. You could just jump in one of the chats and start talking about something nonsensical, and someone somewhere will start talking to you. And
and there's plenty of chats.
I don't want to dub it or label it as, for example, mental health support, because we're not doctors or anything.
No,
but it genuinely does support me when I'm having a hard day and I can disappear into Discord for a couple of hours, read some threads. I'll probably find one I want to talk about something on. I drop a comment in there and someone gets back to me.
Normally Ridley,
yeah. If it's a daytime, or Jake if it's nighttime. Yeah. But someone will get back to me. No matter what. And I've sat there on a night shift at work at 3 a.m. and it's all going to rats, and I can drop a comment on Discord and someone will be there.
Yep.
And I love that about the hobby as well, because it is global as well. We've got people in the hobby from all over the world. When I go to the SNGT or when I go to No Retreat 8, there's people that are going from all over the world. And without trying to sound like a cheesy dickhead, there's this common universal language that is the hobby of 40k on the tabletop.
Yeah.
And dice don't have a language; they're just a number, right? And people, I've played when I went to No Retreat 7, I played a guy from I think it's from Spain. I might have been Gibbet. I'm probably very rude right now, but anyway, and you can just play 40k.
Yeah.
And we've got a number of people from America land in the chat, and we've got people from Australia and New Zealand.
Till doesn't get it wrong. He's from Germany.
Germany, yeah.
He knows how to enjoy the game. Beat me, but I'm not bitter about it at all.
My missus paints the models as painting is her escapism. I love making the scenery and playing and owning the models, yeah. And the clause says, or you can come up north for some abuse, which happened on Saturday. And I got abused.
Did you?
A lot. It was a long way to go to get abused.
Well, you went to a room with the claw and say hi, Paul.
Yeah.
Definitely going to get abused.
No, yeah.
Who else was up with you?
I've just read a comment that I can't read out on YouTube, but sorry, it's made me chuckle.
Who else was up with you?
I drove up with Lee, because he kept me company in the car, and I played with the claw against Say Hi Paul and Gambit. All of them are patrons in Discord. Yep. And we played a doubles game, and we played Imperium versus Tau, and it was carnage and chaos. And I've got to try and edit that car crash of a battle report into something that's coherent.
How many rambles are you going to have from
it was one of my most favourite days ever. One of my most favourite days ever. It was brilliant.
Yeah. Have you got the whole backstory of Tau now from Say Hi Paul?
No. He done off talk, that man. Jesus. Oh, Hagrid. Big Brom 2270, which isn't you,
no,
says
it's
I'm
not.
really new to the hobby and everyone has made me say welcome. I do like that as well. Yeah. And I think that maybe I'm wrong, but maybe that's bred from the historic sort of hush about the hobby. That now when people come in, we embrace them with open arms and go, come and join us. We're one of us. Come and join us. You're one of us now.
Oh, don't start them off. That chant is regularly chanting around.
Yeah, one of us. It happens a lot.
Yeah.
That and hashtag Rondominus and Just a Kill Team. That's the three sayings now. I'm going to get all of those on t-shirts.
Yeah,
I reckon.
Hashtag Just a Kill Team.
I think I'm going to make those actually more Hammer hashtag Just a Kill Team t-shirts.
Yep,
and every time Andy Burns starts a new army, he has to buy one, a different colour.
There's not enough colours in the palette.
The other reason why I love this hobby as well so much is because, I like playing 40k. If you've noticed this,
okay,
but there seems to be if you're someone to wants to play the hobby rather than just paint and sort of model, then there seems to, maybe I'm wrong, there seems to be a faction for everybody. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
You disagree?
No.
You do seem unsure.
Yeah, I was just thinking about all the factions and then all the different types of people. But there is a faction for everyone. I mean, there's the ones that are wrong, Slanesh, Dirty Eldar. There's there's the good guys, the bad guys, the different guys. I didn't want to be like everyone else when I started in 7th, and I had Tau and I had Necron because they were a bit different.
What I also like about that as well is
that.
that you can have a loyalist army, a chaos army, and a xenos army, and they literally do 3 different things. They come from 3 different backgrounds. They appeal to 3 different people, and actually, you can own one of each of those, right? And then decide on the day how you feel and chuck that one on the tabletop.
Yep,
that's really cool.
Yep,
I like that. I love the variety of it.
I don't have a bad guys army though.
I love the variety of it. I love the variety. I love the lore. I love the escapism. So I love all these things. But I mean, it's been touched on a lot already. I don't want to hammer it too hard. But my primary reason for loving 40k is the community. Now, I don't want to upset you wonderful people in Twitch, in the chat. I don't want to upset you people. When I say I love the community, I don't just mean patrons in Discord.
No.
I adore our patrons and I adore our Discord. It's one of my favourite places to be. But we went to Enter the Hellstorm 2.
Yeah.
We went to the Confrontation Lords of War event. I've been to No Retreat. I've been I know the team at SN. I've been up to Say Hi Paul's and played the Claw. I've been to tournaments in Norwich. I've been to tournaments in Colchester. And in every single place, maybe I've been very lucky so far, but in every single place that I've gone to, it's been an incredible experience and I've had a good giggle and a good laugh. And I've played maybe in all those events, maybe 2 bad games.
Yeah, no, I'm the same. Everything I've been involved in has been great fun. Even the games that I wouldn't even say are great games for me, either being blown off the table or just felt like you were being sort of robbed a little bit. They were still interesting games, and where I had good discussions and great talks with that person about what they were doing and how they were killing me so quickly, and how they play the game. And you just watch how someone attempts to play the game differently to you, and then you learn a bit. It's been quite good
when
fun.
When I was in Suffolk in the forces, I even used to pack an army up and go to the Thursday night hobby nights at GW. And I mean, we're talking 6th edition, I think, GW, before all the large community stuff, Facebook pages and all that kind of stuff existed. Certainly before a lot of the YouTube channels were going, because YouTube with 40k content's exploded in the last probably 2 to 3 years. I think it's had a massive explosion since 8th edition. Yeah. And I used to pack an army up, drive down to the GW in the local store on the Thursday night for pickup games. Yeah. And you could just stand there opposite a table and go, you want to play? Yeah, sweet. And you play a game. And you've also got there's local clubs. We have a local club to us where you could jump on their Facebook page and say, I want to play a game on Friday. Who's up for it? And someone go, oh, I haven't got an opponent. I'll play you. 2,000 points. And then you organise a game. And what other sport or hobby like this can you literally go and find one random other dude and go and chuck dice or play or do something with him for 3 hours, thoroughly enjoy it, walk away? Where else can you do that?
Tinder.
It's true. That's true, yeah. Or Grindr if you're wrong, right?
What you're saying is you don't need an app for 40k. There's no swiping.
There's no swiping right, no. But you see what I'm saying? Well, you do need that when you Facebook. But even Twitch, like not Twitch, Discord. In Discord, we've got the Warhammer map.
Yep.
And when people come into the Warhammer map, they can click on their location and drop a pin in their location, look at who's around them, and go, I live in Bristol, for example, because there's a fair few of them from Bristol now. I live in Bristol. Who wants to play a game?
Have you seen there's one in the sea?
I haven't seen that.
I swear. All right, I haven't actually read the full chat around it, and I'll have a look in a sec. But I'm pretty sure it's Richie when he's out on some sort of expedition.
Right, so it's not Till.
I don't think it's Till on his way over.
Not invading again. No. Right, okay.
But it was so funny. The guy spotted that one of the Warhammer map symbols are in the middle of the sea.
Oh no, Rich amazing. Thompson says, I don't know why I play 40k anymore. Why doesn't he? Why don't you, Rich? We want to hear this sad story.
He can't make Weekend at Bernie's too. Oh, it was sad times.
The Claw says, my wife often says there's another guy off the internet coming around this weekend. It is weird, right? It is weird. But when we started filming battle reports in my kitchen when Warhammer launched, my wife was working nights, and it was only when she was working nights that we could film battle reports because it was just the way it worked. And she used to say, who are you playing tonight then? I don't know, some dude off the internet. You've got some guy off the internet that's coming to our house. Yep. And you're not worried about that? Nope. Nope. Look at who's around you and find no one. Oh, that's not very nice. It is impossible to delete pins, I asked Mikey P. Is it? Oh dear. It's because he plays Sulk Marines.
Quite impressed we now have players living on ships in the North Sea.
Rich should be the most
that
happy
would be
person as well.
DK and his friends visiting.
Yeah. Rich should be super happy as well, to be fair. Because he plays Dark Angel, so he can be bad guys or good guys.
I know, he's right in the middle, isn't
he? Dead mean. Oh, brilliant. Dog Lord 90, one of our American cousins from Texas. I'm not going to lie, if there was a Tinder for 40k, I'd sign up. Should we make that app?
That should happen.
Local game matches in your area, swipe right for a match.
Warsmith Chris. Cough.
Yeah.
Hint.
How good an app would that be?
He's a technical genius.
Find local gamers in your area. Want to play 40k? Swipe right to accept. And then you get a little chat box going, what army did you play? I'll play Tau. Delete. Oh, that's amazing. We should do that. Right. Anyway.
Yeah. So.
I think we've waffled on for I don't know what we're talking about now.
We're meant to be why you play. Why do you play? Yes. Why do I play?
Oh, you're trying to plug us back on topic now?
Yeah, I was.
Yeah, okay.
I'm not sure why I play.
Brom now plays because he loves the camera.
I do. To be fair, the amount of attention I get, it's quite nice.
Brilliant. So you just accepted it's mostly for egotistical reasons.
100%. It's the same reason you do it. So yeah.
Well, to be honest with you, that's something that we haven't quite touched on, actually, in all seriousness.
What's that?
So plenty of people out there play 40k.
Yep.
And plenty of people out there enjoy playing 40k. One thing that we haven't touched on, which is kind of relatable, but isn't necessarily the same thing, is why do we YouTube 40k? Why do we do this? Why do we do Twitch? Why do we do the sit talks? Why do we film games and put them on YouTube? Why do we film games and put them on DZ?
Because apparently I wasn't enough for you.
I mean, there is that, yeah.
No,
but you see what I'm saying? Like, a lot of people.
Yeah. Why did you start rambling at a camera then 2 years ago?
Exactly. This is where I was going with it.
Yeah.
So some people create YouTube channels for the wrong reason. Not necessarily 40k YouTube channels, just in general. I'm talking sort of generic now. And some people create YouTube channels to make money and stuff. And if that's why you're creating a YouTube channel right now and you want to do it, then stop, because it's hard and you won't make money fast and you'll be sad and it'll be annoying. I didn't do that for that reason. No. So basically, I was involved with VisiCast, and then I had a second child to destroy my life. And when I was sat in my living room doing nothing on my own, I had nothing to do. He was asleep on the sofa. My wife was upstairs getting some rest because he used to wake up at 1 a.m. So I would stay up until the 1 a.m. feed, and then I'd go to bed, and she'd get up at 6 o'clock when he woke up again, and I'd stay in bed for a bit longer, and that's how it works, right? So I decided, having been on VisiCast, that I just wanted to. So what I said to John for ages is that we could buff up his content levels on VisiCast by not just doing battle reports, but by doing sit and talks and tactics discussions and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. Now, it's something that John wasn't really all that sold on, to be fair.
Well, you did a few, didn't you?
He was excellent at building, recording and editing his battle reports. We did some, but what mostly happened was I would go to John's, he'd put his expensive camera on, sit there and drink beer whilst I chatted nonsense.
And
so I kind of thought, right, I love John, but I don't need him for that, because he's just sat there drinking beer, and he was literally on Tinder whilst I was talking to him. So I thought, screw it, I could probably do this myself.
Yeah.
And I started to enjoy it. And again, I'm going to hark back to this community, but the second the videos on YouTube started to gain some kind of traction, and I would get that feedback from comments, it's interaction, it's community-based interaction. And then the reason why I stepped it up to battle reports, because as much as I enjoy the sit and talks and interacting with people, the battle reports for me is not only sharing and showing off my hobby, but I am a massive fan, and this all harks back to that Myers-Briggs type indicator we talked about ages ago. I am a massive fan of entertaining people. I love trying to be the clown in the room. Sometimes my wife will tell me off for it because it's inappropriate. Often, actually, but I like to entertain people. I now run this YouTube channel, and I run DZ to try and entertain people and have them enjoy the hobby that I enjoy.
We can't show you his kids because of like legal reasons, but they're exactly the same. They just run around shouting hiya and go.
Yeah,
hiya,
my kids.
Hiya.
Yeah, they were dropped at young ages. They weren't. Don't take them off me, Rob. But yeah, the basically what I love about the YouTube channel and Twitch and DZ is I get to share my hobby with other people, and I get to share it two-way, because they can reply to comments and people can come and film, and I get to try and entertain people, and that's what I care about. That's what I love about the YouTube stuff and battle reports. I like entertaining people, and genuinely, honestly, now when I have a negative comment about a battle report, and when you put yourself on social media, you will get negative comments. It happens.
100%.
It happens all the time. It's a shame. It's the world we live in. Yeah, it does. And honestly, when I read them, and I do read them, and I read all of them, and it's a genuinely negative comment rather than I'm just being nasty for the sake of it because they didn't like something we did, it honestly makes me a little bit sad. Honestly.
In the early days, you used to ask why. Yeah. How? What could I do better? I remember one of the first comments on our first bat rep about the dig at the fact that I took the chapter master stratagem
as Ultramarines,
and even though they already have a chapter master, and you're meant to be narrative, and it was like, all right, fair point, but
and you've never done it since.
I've never used that strat ever since.
But honestly, when it's a genuinely negative, or what I mean by genuinely negative, like I say, I mean someone who's not just being nasty for the sake of it, and they actually have constructive negative things to say. And then that sounds like a little bit like an oxymoron, but you kind of get what I'm saying. They say something bad about what you did, and why they didn't like the battle report you've produced, and it's a justifiable comment. And because not every comment that's negative is he's just being mean for the sake of it. Some of them are. That's their honest opinion, and that's fine. But I love entertaining people, so that does make me a little bit sad. And one of the reasons why I love playing 40k on YouTube and on DZ is because when I play 40k, I think you're the same with me as well. I have so much fun, that I think it's a little bit special to be able to share that fun with other people.
Yeah, I love
sense?
it. Yeah, I love jumping up and down.
It's the same. It's almost the same. I like to say this. I always like to say it's almost the same reason why sports people play in front of crowds, because they're sharing their enjoyment, they're sharing their ability and their skill with others. Obviously, when you get to English paid footballers, there's different reasons altogether. It's because they like money.
I also like the story that we're telling, and I think that's why I'm massively more enjoy our narrative battle reports than the ones that slightly come off a little bit more competitive. Although competitive can be fun, we're telling a story.
Yeah,
through the dice.
Absolutely, competitive can be fun, but there's a couple of prerequisites for that. Everybody involved has to know it's competitive beforehand.
Yeah.
And if you're going to be competitive battle reporting on YouTube, you still need to kind of balance what's playing against each other to a degree. 100%. Okay, for it to be enjoyable for the viewer, because if you're competitive playing on YouTube and one person turns up and curb stomps the other person in 2 turns and the other person doesn't get to play, I don't think, even though you've declared that it's competitive and it's ITC and it's this and it's that and it's something else, I don't think that's fun for anyone that's watching necessarily.
And unless you're looking at what does what to it. So if you're just looking from a unit analysis point of view, 100% get that. And really, it's probably the best point of having competitive lists go against them is like proper. How does this army, the current meta army of Tau, take on current meta army of Guard or something like that, and how does it balance out?
But I do think, for me, it's less fun than the other stuff you were talking about. Yeah. So when we played up at, say, High Balls on Saturday, and it was me and the Claw versus him and Gambit, I cannot tell you how many unbelievable moments happened in that battle report that wouldn't happen in competitive play. Full stop, wouldn't happen in competitive play, because we would have never got to that point in competitive play. These things couldn't have happened because we wouldn't have been in that situation in competitive play. It just wouldn't have happened.
Well, you lot would have stayed still, and they would have come at you.
Yeah, and those moments that are 5 people, including Lee in the room, all shouting at the same time, just because those moments, not because of we're trying to emulate. It's just because it was one of those moments that makes you do it. And it makes all 5 of you do it at the same time. And it was insane. It was absolutely insane. And I don't think you get those specific... Like, those moments we had, normally you in a narrative fun battle report, you get 1 or 2 of those moments in a game. We had, 7 in one game, which was insane. But you don't seem to really get them in competitive. Because the thing is with competitive stuff is people will build lists to be points efficient and unit efficient and damage efficient. So you don't get those random moments. They don't happen.
Yeah.
And I'm not telling you what those moments are because I don't want to spoil the game that's coming out on DZ in a few weeks. But oh wow, that was amazing. It was so good that I would happily do the 45-hour round trip to say High Balls again just to play a second time up north.
You better drop it before the DZ Open day, because otherwise we're just going to hassle the Claw.
So tomorrow is Steve Not Rob. The week after is Winters' game. The week after is, say, High Balls on the Claw. So it will be before the Open day.
Good.
It will be before the Open day.
Otherwise, I'm just going to badger them.
I'm also saving American Rob's game for DZ as well.
That'd be good.
Because
Denarian 87. Mikey Hellstorm, 100% agree. They have a lot of fun on their channels. That's it's just our belief and the way we play.
Ron.
Yeah.
Little coach lesson.
Okay.
Imagine this is YouTube.
Yeah.
What are the viewers seeing right now?
Okay, so they're seeing nothing. So what the comment that came in was Mikey does an awesome job of showing how competitive and not clear the table by turn 2 and make your opponent cry is still fun and good competitive, which is nice.
And he's talking about Mikey from Hellstorm.
Yeah, who we spent the weekend with, and we spent a lot of time talking about different game styles and how they play, and watching them is good fun. They have a lot of fun on their channel, and that I really enjoyed. I watched his game versus Tank where they did a night off and was giggling, texting him all the way through while trying to paint, which was really annoying because I was trying to paint. So, and normally I don't watch it, but I had to keep looking at the screen. So I totally get that. And it is good fun. And they do make competitive fun.
Yeah.
But it's not necessarily the competitive on competitive full out mashup that I find fun.
They can do that.
I find them fun.
They can do that hyper competitive stuff.
I think they do.
If you look at Mikey from Hellstorm, he's currently the number 1 ranked player for Marines in the UK for ITC points.
He's not far off the world.
I think he might be worldwide for the Space Marines as well. I don't know.
I thought
or
he
he's
was
not
third,
far off. He might be third. I don't know.
Yeah.
I shouted when Liam's Khan did something naughty versus Winters as a custodian. He's not spoiling it, but my God, that was epic and in competitive. That would have not happened. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
exactly that.
Yeah.
And then Squid Monster. So Rob says tears are the sweetest of victories in competitive. I'm not going to go into this story. I'm not going into this score, but I had a chat with Rob at Confrontation's team event.
Yep.
And his new goal in life. This might not be 100% true. It might be fabricated for story purposes. His new goal in life is to every time he goes to an event of 40k is to make a child cry.
Are you a child
now,
in this case?
I'm not going to spoil anything, but so far he's been successful. And he goes to lots of events. That's fabricated mildly, but that's mostly true.
His nights are amazing.
We'll save this story for another time.
Absolutely amazing.
Rob can come on the channel one day if he wants.
Yeah.
Because he's local. Lee, you're so late, we're literally about to finish. Because Rob's local. So, Rob, you can come on the channel someday if you want to.
Yeah.
He said, we got an email, we got a deploymentzone.tv email after the weekend at team events, and Rob's comment was, I didn't know what a Moorhammer was.
What?
How could you? But now he does. Right.
Good.
Okay, so it's been super interesting chatting to the guys in Twitch tonight and seeing what they love about 40k, why they decide to play it, why they play 40k in general. There is a lot of stuff that is about the community, their friends, hanging out with friends, and I think it's one of those things that in a modern world that I think is becoming less human interactive.
Yeah.
And it is. The digital age is making us less human interactive, and things are done over internet or phones or apps or WhatsApp or Skype, and it is becoming less less human interactive.
Yeah.
40k by its nature is mostly that way. There is stories about people like Stylus, who's one of our patrons, who plays via webcam, someone in a different country.
Absolutely insane.
That's amazing.
That is absolutely amazing. And they're just moving fake models for the other team around, aren't they? And like coasters and cans and all sorts.
Degs is a prat.
Is he?
Yeah. Do your best Liam Neeson voice and read that. Don't do Liam Neeson voice. No, you're reading it to yourself now, aren't you?
I am. Sorry. However, this can't be entertaining. I'll read it in a minute.
What was that? What's this gospel track?
Skybot for 5 years now.
So in like I say, in a world that's becoming less human interactive, I think that 40k will always cling on to that real feel, because you kind of, to some degree, mostly have to get together and play. And anything that can create an event for a weekend or a day that brings 10, 20, 30, 40, 100 people together in one place to hang out and enjoy themselves, enjoy their hobby, has got to be good in the modern world.
Yeah.
Got to be.
The team event, I know you guys did a whole podcast on it, but 76 people to 80 people in the same place, having nothing but fun, giggling, and actually your result didn't necessarily matter because your team were in there as well. Yeah. And sometimes it really mattered and sometimes it didn't.
Team events are absolutely money
100% not missing a team event.
They're my new go-to.
Awesome.
So if I don't do anything else next year event-wise, I want to make sure I go to the Hellstorm team event and the Confrontation one.
Yeah.
Literally my go-to event now, because they feel less like a tournament and more like an event. And one of the things that people like about the stuff that goes on in Discord when the guys arrange our Patreon events.
Yeah.
So we've had No Surrender 1 and 2. We've got Weekend at Bernie's 1 and 2. Brian put together his very first one up in Colchester. Yeah. We've got Battle Brothers that's happening in March. Ridley will correct me.
What?
Are you going with Waller?
Yeah.
Sweet. At least he'll win you some painting points.
Half army was painting really well.
but these Patreon events as well, it's the same theory as to what I'm saying. You have a day or a weekend where a bunch of dudes, some of which don't know each other, get together as a community essentially to play 40k. It's the same theory as a normal tournament or event, and that's amazing. Those events are super special as well.
So Weekend at Bernie's 2, the rule pack came out this weekend.
Yeah.
And day 1, 1250.
Yeah.
Day 2, 1500. And you can actually change your list between the days, but you have to have the same warlord. And the way that Stylus is absolutely selling it, which is the way to do it, and Andy Burns right behind him, is that what happens on day 1 dictates your list you bring on day 2.
Yeah.
So if you get your ass handed to you, bring the tanks, bring the heavy. Don't bring the super heavy because you have to have a burden, but bring the heavy. And if you're doing really well, bring along all your Terminators for the day 2. So I'm well up for that. It's going to be such a great laugh.
Yeah. Okay.
It's completely different.
Those community events are insane. Actually,
Yeah.
I had to recently pull out a weekend at Bonus 2.
It's sad times.
And I always say never pull out. But I had to recently pull out of weekend at Bonus 2 because work, and there's nothing I can do about it, and I tried. And I genuinely, honestly, was really sad about it. And I've been trying to not pull out of weekend at Bonus 2. Mm-hmm. It happens. The bonus I have is that someone else is going to get that awesome spot, and someone else is going to get to enjoy that event with the community. And you will be there, Mikey will be there. So there'll be plenty of channel representatives there.
Yeah.
But I had to pull out of it. I'm really sad about it. It's a shame. Now I'm really looking forward to the Battle Brothers event because it's going to be the next Patreon one I think I can go to.
Yep.
But hey.
In February,
yeah, brilliant. Right, I'm going to go before these idiots start really putting me off. Yeah. So I hope you've enjoyed this random amble, sit and talk, chat nonsense thing that we do. Yeah. It's actually seeming to prove more fun to just come up with a topic 10 minutes before we start.
It is nowadays.
Yeah.
It wasn't in the early days.
No, you're getting good at it. You're getting good at spouting nonsense.
They're not specific topics. We can talk random crap. It's not, so what do you think of the Eldar Codex? The one I haven't read, okay. Yeah. Reading now, yes, really good.
The thing is, I think also this is more of a channel feel about chatting nonsense about the hobby, why you started, why you enjoy it, what you do, rather than going over the latest release. Because we could have covered the FAQs about Knights and Renegade Knights.
Yeah, don't care.
That have made lots of interesting headlines in the 40k universe because of points changes and rules changes. Could have covered that. Didn't care.
No.
It'll only ever come up if we
get a Renegade army.
if we use them on the channel, exactly.
Yeah.
At which point they'll come up then, so we don't need to do them in our sit and talks. Yeah. So if you're literally following this channel for the latest updates, you're doing it wrong. For now.
Although that is in Discord, so go there.
Yeah, and there might be some channel videos coming up soon that are latest updates.
Oh yeah, there might be.
Maybe. Pre-orders available now. Maybe. Anyway. If you do enjoy these, we do have a whole rack of them. There is a playlist in YouTube, which is Chat from the Vox. You can find all but the last 2 at the moment on Spotify and iTunes, and by the end of the week, both of those will be up there, plus this one. So I'll be dropping 3 on iTunes this week alone. Obviously, you can come and join us on Twitch. You can follow us on Twitch by searching for Warhammer Liam. There's normally links in the video descriptions below on YouTube, normally. And if you follow that link and hit follow, it will notify you. Like I say, if you have Amazon Prime connected, you can subscribe to the channel for free. Costs you nothing, financially supports us. And you can go into the Amazon account. There's YouTube videos on how to link your account to Prime. It's actually relatively simple. Even I was able to do it. So yeah, you can do that. If you do really, really, really want to support the channel, there's 2 other ways of doing it. The primary way is through www.deploymentzone.tv, which is a website Winters and I own, and there's merchandise on that website, and there's lots and lots of videos on there. So if you enjoy our video content and you enjoy Winters' video content, what better place is there to hang out than on Deployment Zone? There's loads of stuff on there, battle reports, sit and talks, all kinds of nonsense. There's a merchandise page. We are soon to be overhauling it, so a little heads up that within the next month or so, I'm hoping we'll have PayPal on the website, and you better subscribe via PayPal. There's just some little bits we need to tidy up before we migrate to a newer looking website that I'm hoping will be a bit better, and then in the future we might even be migrating to an even better one, but baby steps. The business is growing and we're enjoying it, and we are enjoying sharing this stuff with you guys. And the latest campaign that Winters has online, which is the Death of Hope campaign, the feedback is phenomenal. People are loving that stuff, and that is Winters versus Say Hi Paul. Does it get more narrative than that? I don't think it gets more narrative than that. So Death of Hope campaign's on there. Otherwise, if you don't want to join deploymentzone.tv, and you should, you can support us via Patreon, and we have an army of patrons. And if anyone ever tries to invade again, we have our army of patrons, and we'll be okay. We've got people that tend to join during the stream. We've just gained a new platinum subscriber. They get their own WhatsApp chat and a barbecue thrown from them Saturday, etc., etc. I'm going to go welcome him in a minute because he's just turned up.
Yep.
I say him, could be a her. I don't know. I assume it's a him. But I was told about it in the chat. But there's all sorts of levels, and even just for as little as $2 a month, which is less than half a cost of coffee, you can come and join us on Discord and be involved in Discord and chat in most of the chats. $2. It's £1.30. £1.40? £1.40 a month, and you're in our hobby Discord, which is carnage. There's 130 or 140 people in our hobby Discord now, and it's the best place to hang out for hobby that I've ever experienced. I'm going to say that because it's my Discord, but it's awesome. We've also got a lot of the channel representatives in there. Mikey Brom's in there, Mikey P's in there, Steve not Rob, Rob not Steve, say hi Paul, the Claw, all these wonderful people that you see on the channel quite regularly. They are all in Discord. Yep. As well as our chatbots, Ridley and Jake.
And Spec now.
Spec's a new guy, yeah.
Spec's a new guy.
So come and join us in Discord. Please come and join us in Discord. I don't think you'll regret it. And even if you don't want to pay any of the high levels that give you additional bonuses, Silver gives you access to the D&D zone. Gold gives you access to come and film with us on the channel or be involved in podcasts.
Starts Wednesday, I think, isn't it?
What's that?
The first playthrough of D&D.
I have no idea.
I think
I
that's
know
what I was told.
Mikey P is at home reading up on D&D rules now. So although he's not here podcasting, he's still doing channel work because he's a legend. Yep. So if you want to come and join us on Discord, check out the Patreon link in the video descriptions below. But like I say, you also want to be looking at deploymentzone.tv or just do both. Yeah. A lot of people do both. Anyway, that's enough for me grovelling for you to come and join us. I hope you've enjoyed it, like I say. A huge shout out does go to all the guys who joined us on Twitch tonight. You guys are legend. You've had a lot of fun talking to you on Twitch, so thank you very, very much for coming and joining us. Absolute heroes. As per usual, when I finish the YouTube video, we'll stay around for a couple of minutes before we go raiding someone. And we can go and annoy someone else's channel. So massive thank you to you guys. I really, really love you lot. And most of them are patrons, so I doubly love you. I think that covers that. And the last shout out goes to Element Games. If you saw our last live stream, then you will notice that we gave away £300 on Element Games vouchers. 300 quid we gave away over the last video. That's Element Games vouchers that they supplied to us because we were celebrating the 10k subs that we hit and our second birthday. So a massive thank you to Element and a massive thank you to Matt. He's been absolutely snowed under lately, and that guy's a legend. He still takes the time to talk to me, even though I'm super annoying.
Very annoying.
And he's been really helpful.
You brought a whole Discord to his door.
I did, yeah.
And he still talks to you.
And I apologised to him for getting hassled in Discord, and he goes, "No, your dudes are lovely. They're much nicer than the emails I get." So yeah, he's a legend. Anyway, I think I've covered it all. Anything you want to add, Brom?
No, I'm all good. I've had fun.
You sure?
Yeah.
You've had fun?
Yeah.
Sweet.
It's good Monday night.
Hang around with those of you on Twitch. Thanks very much for watching, and we'll see you in the next one. Don't do it.
I'm not doing it.
Don't do it.